what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Please place your right hand over your heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please welcome Long Beach Police Department Chaplain, Pastor Kevin Bradford, who will deliver the invocation.
Good evening. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight inviting your Spirit to be upon us. We call upon you for aid, protection, guidance, and inspiration as we venture into a new year. We give thanks that you have blessed us all by living in a country that provides us with freedom and prosperity. As we live in these challenging economic times, we pray that you put your hand upon our nation and have her continue to rise up and live out the true meaning of her creed. We pray that you watch over all the men and women in our military and that you put that blanket of protection around them and comfort their families. We ask that you be with our leaders in Washington and Sacramento so they can come together for the better good of our state and country. I pray that you be with all of our leaders here in Long Beach. And we know you are of high authority and you have appointed and ordained these leaders by placing them in the positions they're in today. So we ask, Lord, that you use our leaders in a way that continues to make this city grow and be a great example to other cities. I pray that your mighty hedge of security is with our men and women of the police and fire departments as they put their lives on the line to protect others. And Lord, be with the high-ranking officials of these departments and give them the insight and wisdom in making these decisions that will make safety of our police officers, firefighters, and citizens the highest priority. We lift up Mayor Foster in prayer tonight as he gives his State of the City address, that you bestow your knowledge and guidance upon him as he gives us his vision for 2013. And I pray that you lead the mayor and the city officials in the direction that they seek to accomplish their goals. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please welcome Long Beach's First Lady, Nancy Foster.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody's doing well? Oh, good. Welcome to the 2013 State of the City address, and I am so honored to be here to introduce Bob. Before I bring him up, though, there are some special people that I want to introduce. But don't applaud. Wait till after, okay? First of all, City Auditor Laura Dowd, City Prosecutor Mr. Doug Halbert, City Attorney Mr. Bob Shannon, and City Council members, Vice Mayor Dr. Robert Garcia, Dr. Suja Lowenthal, Gary DeLong, Patrick O'Donnell, Dee Andrews, James Johnson, Al Austin, and Steve Neal. Also, Long Beach Unified School District Board member John McInnes and Long Beach Unified School District Board member Felton Williams. Our former Governor George Dugmasian and former Long Beach Mayor Eunice Sato. Our city management team led by Pat West, and all of our residents who serve on our city commissions and advisory boards. Let's give them all a big hand. As you know, Bob and I are not originally from Long Beach. We met years ago, many, many years ago, in San Jose. We raised our son, James and Kenny, in Sacramento. And then we finally found Long Beach. And when we found Long Beach, I felt like we had finally found our home. I never would have thought, after all these years, that I would be sharing Bob with all of you. I'm not sure. Some of you may not be pleased about it. You never know. But I am so proud to say that I think he has done the city very, very well, and he's accomplished so many fine things for Long Beach. Because he's in the public eye a lot, you probably think you know Bob. You've heard his bio read over and over again. You know that he is retired from Southern California Edison as a president, and that he's got a keen sense of business sense that's helped him guide his way making decisions here in Long Beach. You've read in the newspaper he wants to improve Long Beach's environment. He loves to play golf, and he's just itching to get out on his bicycle again. Evidently, he's got some aches and pains and some ailments that have to heal so he can get back out on his bike again. And as you know, Bob has always supported my mission to advocate for and to educate about mental illness. And for this, I am very, very grateful. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you. But there are other sides to him that you may not know. Like he can't tell a joke he loves without laughing through it the entire time. And many of you probably heard the same joke over and over again and listened to him laughing the whole time. So that may be not something new to you. He loves to shop at Costco. He loves to collect flashlights. He's never met a flashlight he didn't love. He loves his family with all his heart. But there are some days I wonder if he just may love Noah, our cat, just a little bit more. I know that you don't get to see this part of Bob as much as I do. And that's why I am so very grateful that all of you are here to listen to his State of the City report and tell you what he is feeling and about the future of our city. Bob and I have been married for 44 years, and it has been a wonderful journey. And being a partner with him through this has been awesome. I've loved it. We've lived in other cities, we've traveled to other states, to other countries, but this city, Long Beach, is like no other we have lived. And I feel it's because of the people that live here that make it so special. So it's my pleasure to bring up to the stage our mayor and my husband, Mayor Bob Foster.
Well, thank you, Nance, for revealing all my secrets. I actually do love to shop at Costco. I'm glad she didn't mention Roman history. That would have been another thing. But I think most of you know that. And I really want to thank her. You know, she's actually, we're both a little under the weather, but she's even more under the weather than I am. And she's a real trooper to come out here and do this. She's struggling with a very bad cold. But whether it's middle school sports or helping the mentally ill, or making things a lot better at holiday time, your First Lady makes this place a lot better. Thank you, babe. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure tonight to have my son Kenny and his wife Cheryl and our 3 grandchildren, Taylor, Bobby, and Ryan. I want to welcome them. They're actually new residents to Southern California. Thank you for being here. I don't know where they are, but somewhere. Oh, hey, how you doing, guys? I thought you had more hair. I don't know what happened. It's my mom's grandfather. I'm sorry. Anyway, they're a great family, and we love having them here. Welcome to the residents from across the city who are watching from their homes and places of work as this speech again is streaming live over the web. Welcome to the beautiful Center Theater in downtown Long Beach. The requirement to deliver this State of the City is part of our city charter, and I'm proud to continue the tradition to make this speech to the entire city accessible to everyone. Because above all else, this speech is the annual application of democracy's demand that citizens be informed of how well their government is performing. It is a pleasure tonight to tell you that we have successfully come through a very difficult time and fortunately emerged a stronger city for it. You all know that adversity tends to make you stronger. It really reminds me of a sign I saw on a telephone pole recently. It read, "Lost dog, black and gray German Shepherd, walks on 3 legs, blind in 1 eye, missing 1 canine tooth, neutered. Answers to the name, Lucky." Kind of what it feels like to go through what we've been through. So while the economy does not yet have the strength we all desire, growth has returned, employment is modestly up, business activity is increasing, and the city continues on the road to better financial footing. The increase in economic activity in the form of consumer spending, the rebound in the real estate market, and the uptick in development projects provide an important barometer on revenue levels that have been unpredictable for the better part of 4 years. More importantly, your city government took proactive steps vital to healing our broken finances. I stood before you last year and made a difficult pledge to bring true reform to Long Beach public pensions. It was a difficult path, but this much was certain. I was going to implement these reforms on behalf of this city, even if it meant asking you, the voters, to take action when employee groups would not. I'm very proud to report that after much time and toil, and with the great cooperation of our city employees, we now have substantial and meaningful pension reform across the city. Employees gave up their contracted raises in order to pay a greater share of their pensions. They agreed to benefit reductions that are more in line with fiscal reality. These actions put our finances on a sustainable path, one that protects both the city and employee in the future. I'm grateful to and proud of each of you who cast a ballot in support of the city's common good. Thank you. All in, these pension reforms will save the city nearly $250 million over the next decade, sparing draconian cuts and maintaining the outstanding service levels that Long Beach residents deserve. The time is now at hand to rebuild our essential assets and restore some of the much-needed services. We now are poised to accelerate our investments in the future. We can advance the far more joyful work of rebuilding and catalyze the energy of this great city. Having weathered the tempest, we should also take a moment to reflect on the past. We must understand and learn the lessons of the last several years, what was done right and what was done wrong. We must also take time to celebrate our success and provide a path and a future vision for the city we love. First, the lessons. I believe providing for the future and creating a smoother and better path for those that come after you is the first moral principle of government. In short, our primary responsibility is to assure that opportunity is available for the next generation. Yet, when you look at troubled governments, the most common element is spending beyond their means, beyond fiscal capacity, in effect, borrowing from that very future. There are little or no reserves for poor times, no provisions for emergencies, with little concern for the next generation. Abraham Lincoln, much in the news these days and certainly in movies, said it best: you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Now, I know that political forces, however worthy the cause may be, are always present to make it almost irresistible for elected officials to spend recklessly. There are always too many needs and not enough resources. There is always the next election, campaigns to win, groups to satisfy. The choices are rarely easy. Strong character is needed to resist these temptations and prioritize the greater good over your own political benefit. The public deserves that you treat its money with more care than you would your own. In Long Beach, during the flush period in the early part of the last decade, rather than reserve funds from the absence of pension payments or continue to make payments and create pension reserves, we increased benefits. It was the easy choice. We had the money, and we were assured we would never have to make another pension payment. More recently, with the help of the majority of the City Council standing firm on fiscal policy, our city maintained its bond rating. In an era when downgrades were common, Long Beach was a standout. Indeed, the rating agencies noted that part of the reason was our policy of not using one-time revenues for ongoing expenses. In a welcome abundance of caution, Fitch's rating service reminded us that to deviate from that policy would trigger a negative action on their part. So with better times on the horizon, let us please not forget these lessons. Let us not make the same mistakes. Let us hold fast to the disciplines we have adopted. We can do better. We should do better, and indeed we must do better. The well-being of the next generation depends on it. So what is that future? This is my 7th State of the City speech, and it is the first one in which I feel confident in saying that the hard work and adherence to sound fiscal policy is paying off. We are at the point of real optimism. There will be revenue to do more, and we must be judicious in its use. So let's just take a moment to do something we simply do not do enough of in this great city. Let's look back and just take a moment to celebrate our success. Now, wouldn't we all love to be residents of a place ranked among the top digital cities, among the best at utilizing social media? A city awarded as a top walkable city and internationally recognized a bike-friendly city. A city with an award-winning TV channel, with national award-winning neighborhoods, and noticed nationally for excellence in our financial management. We would be proud to reside in a city singled out by the Human Rights Campaign for its inclusion of lesbian and gay individuals in municipal law and policy. A city applauded for a progressive downtown plan, and a downtown that continues to grow as a convention destination without equal. A city with such excellent athletic tradition that it can claim some association, if not intense pride in, 32 Olympic athletes and 15 medals they earned in London this summer. Well, those are all the accolades and accomplishments bestowed on your great city in 2012. It's actually fun to list them, you know, it's kind of nice to remember. You know, always kind of worry about the downside. The upside's pretty nice. There were many enhancements to our economic foundation as well. None more apparent, more needed, and perhaps more overdue than the new concourse at the Long Beach Airport. Now, yeah, you bet. Now, if you haven't experienced the new LGB, you will be pleasantly shocked. It's comfortable, has all the latest amenities, great concessions, the food is terrific, and all from Long Beach businesses. No idea why I singled out the food, but on one Sunday afternoon before opening, several thousand citizens took a walk through the new terminal as part of Community Day, and they loved it. So I will say it one more time, then I promise will ever say it again. You can now buy a sandwich before your flight without fear of actually eating it. I want to give special thanks to Mario Rodriguez and his entire staff and the design team at Studio 111 and the rest of the project team. Kudos for a job very well done. You have made the prime gateway to this city beautiful. Thank you again. The massive construction effort in the Port of Long Beach continues. The billion-dollar Middle Harbor project is on track to receive its first container in 2015. And having toured the site, I can tell you it's a stunning display of engineering and logistics, even before a single ship is docked. And last week, we officially kicked off construction to rebuild the Gerald Desmond Bridge, soon to be one of California's most iconic structures, complete with bicycle lanes for the intrepid cyclist, Mr. West. Little known about the project is that it is financed through a unique partnership between the city and the state of California, born from necessity and a little creativity. And I can tell you firsthand it wasn't easy. But this design-build project is projected to cut 6 to 12 months from construction time and save an estimated 5 to 10% in construction costs over original estimates. In all, over $4 billion in construction and 4,000 construction jobs annually will cement our port as the place you want to send your cargo. Pardon me. We will move it faster, greener, and in greater volumes than anyone in the country. To demonstrate that point, this past December was the best in the port's history, yielding the largest container volumes of any December ever before. I hope I can make it through this. Thank you to the Harbor Commissioners and the Harbor Department staff for their outstanding work providing employment to thousands and making sure that the future is strong and prosperous. Now, speaking of jobs, our economic development moved at a brisk pace this year. The city's Small Business Enterprise Program saw a 25% increase in registrants over the last year. Getting your business registered is the first step in accessing city purchasing contracts. And I'm very proud to report that we again improved on that count as well. Long Beach based businesses earned $82 million in sales through the city. That accounts for over 1/3 of the total purchasing dollars and represents a 5% increase over last year, despite reductions in overall city expenditures. Now, we welcome numerous large businesses to our city. Ignify is now located downtown. Airgas, LD Products, and Rubbercraft are in East Long Beach. And the RMD Group now calls North Long Beach home. Boeing, our iconic and historic partner, added more than 150 engineering jobs right here in Long Beach. Despite a continuing transition of the C-17 workforce, Boeing's investments in other business lines within the company provide a real indication that the last aircraft manufacturer in California has a strong future here in Long Beach. Our city partners in the business improvement districts across the city continue to do fabulous work to cultivate our commercial corridors. Just two examples. 70 new businesses opened or relocated in and around Bixby Knolls. This past year, the Downtown Long Beach Associates report 552 new jobs in their membership area. Now, whether new restaurants, design and technology firms, or manufacturing companies, each has discovered that Long Beach is a great place to live and work. And the Visitors and Convention Bureau continues to set the standard and reports that occupancy rates now exceed 2007 levels, which previously marked historic highs. Over the next several months, we will complete state-of-the-art upgrades that promise to make the Long Beach Arena among the most innovative and creative event spaces in the nation. Construction is nearly completed on the new Deukmejian Courthouse. You bet. So happy to have him in that building here. It's terrific. And construction has also begun on the new home for Molina Healthcare, the old Press Telegram building. Now, these projects have the potential to add many hundred new jobs and create new corridors for robust commerce in our city. And we have approved an agreement to begin development of a new Shoreline Gateway project, bringing more life to the east side of downtown. And the approved downtown plan makes new projects easier to approve and faster to build. 7 new structures are either completed or near completion at Douglas Park. And with the acquisition of the enormous 717 facility across the street by the world-class Saris Regis Company, I'm confident more high-quality development is on the way. Now, having said that, there is nothing more frustrating to new business or residents looking to make improvements to their homes than a protracted and confusing, user-unfriendly building permit process. You all know what I'm talking about. And the most frustrating thing to me is it is often the first and most substantial interaction outside developers and businesses will have with the city. We better get it right. It has been my personal crusade to make this process easier, user-friendly, and turn the culture and development services from that of regulators to facilitators. We now have a planning and permit. By the way, we made some progress on that point for a while, and we relapsed into old habits. So it got better, and then it got worse. But we now have a planning and permit process second to none. It's one stop in one location, easy to understand. The efficiency improvements have allowed us to save you money, reducing fees by nearly 1/3. I'm proud to report that customer approval ratings are now over 90% positive under the new program. If you haven't seen it, you should go to the 4th floor. Even I can understand it, so I mean, it's really simple. Businesses and residents love it and freely say so. More importantly, we have a true culture change. Our staff now facilitates projects. Their mission is to get your business located or your home remodel completed as quickly as possible. As they say, it takes a village, and several people are owed thanks for bringing about these changes. But I want to bring special attention to Amy Bodak and Angela Reynolds, who have personally shepherded this transition. Now, all of our economic and capital improvement success would mean little, and our progress would come to a halt if we were not a safe city. I'm happy to report that violent crime dropped again this past year to the lowest level since 1972. We have been smarter about how we deploy resources and have used technology to increase efficiency and reach. Our police and fire departments maintain some of the fastest response times for big cities in California. Residents are always amazed to learn that about 84% of all the calls for service made to the fire department are for medical assistance. The fire department will soon launch a brand new service model to deliver paramedic response faster and at a reduced cost citywide. They will also begin utilizing electronic patient care reporting, which is expected to generate a 40% reduction in work hours spent on paperwork. We have new technology enhancements to assist the police department and their all-important mission. The LB Cop system came online this year, linking public and private security cameras from throughout the city into a real-time feed at the Emergency Operations Center. We added surveillance cameras at various parks and intersections throughout the city, further adding to the network of information available to first responders and investigators. Now, none of this is meant to say we are not without our challenges. Our public safety resources, like every department in this city, have been under tremendous financial strain. These fiscal challenges coincide with a policy decision in Sacramento called realignment that pushed many criminals back on the streets instead of locked up where many still belong. I highlighted this decision in last year's speech, and nearly every city and county in California is struggling with its effects, seen most acutely as a spike in property crime. Now, partnerships between each citizen and our first responders are incredibly important. Think of the LB Cop program I just mentioned. Every camera system installed in a business or by a property owner is yet another potential community partnership to fight crime and speed investigations. This community embraces these partnerships and understands their value. Just last week, a watchful neighbor called 911 after seeing strangers knocking on doors in the neighborhood. Within minutes, PD arrested suspects and recovered stolen property. As part of the Long Beach Unified School District's curriculum, 4,000 third graders participated in the fire department's fire safety house program. That was last year. And thank you to everyone in neighborhoods across this city who has become trained as part of the Community Emergency Response Team program. These are just examples of how citizens contribute every day to making Long Beach a remarkably safe city. To Police Chief McDonald and Fire Chief Dury, our residents can trust that you are thinking creatively, innovating, and in constant pursuit of our shared goal of making Long Beach the safest large city in California. Thank you to your command staff, and thank you to the officers and firefighters under your leadership for their service to the city. Hi, Jim. Don't make me laugh. We continued our work to make Long Beach a sustainable city. The long, hard process to improve our recreational water quality is paying off. In the summer, 93% of our beaches received A grades from Gila Bay. Big change from the past. We've added Recycle Bank to our waste and recycling program. This gives even more incentives to residents to increase recycling and should help the city improve an already impressive 70% waste diversion rate. We employed 20,000 community service hours to collect 1,250 tons of litter from alleys. Our Parks and Recreation Department saved 33,000 gallons of water, and we replaced old, inefficient, and costly lights in City Hall and City Place garages with LED lights, saving $58,000 a year and conserving electric energy. Now, open space in a built-up city is always critical, and 2012 saw the city continue to stretch and creatively work to expand parks and open space. Projects such as Orizaba Park expansion, McBride Park Teen Center, McBride Skate Park, the beach restrooms, and El Dorado Nature Center improvements were all completed. Work is underway at Craftsman, Baker, Willow Springs, Alamedas Parks, and Harvey Milk Park. The soccer fields at Drake Chavez and Seaside Park are in progress. We will also renovate the Leeway Sailing Center and continue to rebuild all the city's marinas. The massive effort on the large centrally located Chittick Field will continue after the rainy season, and Longview Point at Willow Springs had an unveiling celebration this past 4th of July. It's a lot of work on parks, and all of you should understand how much is being done. It's terrific in a built-up city. Finally, we have improved our roads and other infrastructure with the limited resources we have. We repaired 42 miles of streets, trimmed 28,000 trees, cleaned over 226,000 graffiti sites, and filled over 48,000 potholes. We also completed 32,000 building inspections, provided nearly 15,000 vaccinations, issued 448 film permits, and had nearly 750,000 youth participants in our Parks and Recreation program. All this should just give you a sense of the scale of the work that is performed on your behalf. So Long Beach has had a good year. We have accomplished much and weathered a difficult time. Now what do we do? Where do we go from here? A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen. The ever quotable Winston Churchill. Now, my crystal ball is no better than yours. I'm not going to predict the future. We do, however, need to move into a new phase of our history. Much still needs to be done, and we must focus intently on structures, systems, and programs that accelerate the rate of investment in our future. Our streets, sidewalks, public buildings, and systems all need repair, in some cases replacement. In the coming year, it will be my purpose to develop a systematic and citywide program that prioritizes repairs and efficiently utilizes our resources for the greatest good. We need to modernize our city with more technological systems to improve communications, speed the diagnosis of problems, improve our response, and integrate our resources. I stated earlier that the LB COP system is a great example of smart technology on a citywide scale. I was very fortunate. I had the opportunity recently to see this technology more fully deployed in Rio de Janeiro, where the entire city is televised on an 80-meter segmented screen. Most city services are viewed in a large center, and all city departments work together, God forbid, in the same room. Fire, police, traffic control, refuse collection, water and sewer services, flood control, public works, and public transportation collaborating in real time. The result is amazing. Information is rapidly communicated, integration of city departments is assured, the savings are substantial, and the service levels are extraordinarily high. We use a similar structure in times of emergency to great effect. Imagine the impacts if we use such a system in our day-to-day business. A system like this should be our goal. It is a modern, fast, efficient, cost-effective way to serve the public. And this year, I will ask city staff to explore bringing such a system to Long Beach. There is no doubt it would be a benefit to our city and move us into the 21st century. So let's not only imagine how such a system could work for us, let's learn how to make it a reality. Sure. Now, if you want to look up online, it's called Smart Cities. It is an amazing system, and it's increased safety and productivity in that city in Rio, you wouldn't believe. Now, environmental improvement should be a constant policy for any great city. Improving our air, water, open space, and reducing our resource use will make our city better and a more desirable place to live, work, and play. We have made significant progress on cleaning the air from port activity. I mentioned the improvements in our beach water quality, but more needs to be done to expand our partnerships with upstream cities along the LA River, the largest source of pollution on our coastline. The next big project should be to increase the amount of land under public control in the Las Cerritas wetlands and to restore the wetlands themselves. This is one of the major gateways to our city, and it too forms an impression of who and what we are. It is clearly better than 2 or 3 years ago, but both aesthetically and functionally, restoration will improve the area. And finally, we need to make sure we are doing everything we can to increase commerce in our city. It is the best answer to the need for more revenue. More sales mean more sales tax. Higher property values mean more property tax. It really isn't a secret formula. Our improved process in planning and building will help. There is nothing more comforting to a potential business than knowing that they have a partner to walk them through any process, attempt to remove roadblocks, inform them of available assistance, and link them to other resources. We do much of this now in a workable partnership between the Mayor's Office, Developmental Services, Asset Management, and the Workforce Investment Board. Our next step is to further fine-tune our organization to assure that we are deploying our top talent into service on this vital mission of enhancing opportunities to capitalize on growth and job creation within the private sector. Now, I can't fix worker comp or the state regulatory process or tax code or any of the things you always hear that make California a tough place to do business. But I can make sure that this city cultivates entrepreneurship, connects businesses with resources, is aggressive in getting your business permitted, and putting our property stock to the highest and best commercial use. Now, in all of this, there will be great temptation to use one-time revenue for ongoing programs, particularly programs that have been reduced. We must avoid that trap. Fitch's rating service has given policymakers fair warning. Shame on us if we make the mistake of not listening. We also have far too much to rebuild and a long way to go to truly modernize this city. The future demands that we do the right thing and create a place that is safe, attractive, well-functioning, efficient, and full of opportunity for our young people. Now, while the physical constructs of any city are important, equally critical is the manner in which we deal with one another. Creating an atmosphere of respect and responsibility is necessary if we are to govern ourselves. It's not only necessary, it's contagious. Recently, I spoke to a group of students representing each of the city's high schools as part of Youth Leadership Long Beach. Most of them wanted a future involved in the political process. I was asked how I liked my job, why I did it, how I went about it each day, and why there was so much conflict in politics. The students were very focused on the how of government. They were asking questions to understand and develop some sense of what politics really was all about. It was an early morning, and it was my first meeting of a long day, and right around the time of the fiscal cliff discussions that began to take center stage in our national debate. So you can imagine my first thoughts were not always constructive. I almost used a comment attributed to Napoleon that in politics, stupidity is not a handicap. But I refrained. Their questions allowed me, however, to reflect on some of the essential reasons we have conflict and protracted policy debates. I told the students that we should all remember that our own experiment in self-government is designed to cure defects in previous democratic societies, many of which ended badly and rather quickly because they succumbed to chaos and tyranny. Our system is foremost designed to prevent tyranny either by one faction or individual. Hence, it is structured to play interest off against interest, not only between each level of government, but within each level of government, achieved through checks and balances and separation of branches. The price we pay for the preservation of our Constitution is often the conflict, frustration, and near glacial speed of government. I thought it important to reflect on this notion given the brinksmanship we see in modern-day politics. At the very least, I offer these thoughts to try to explain a context where friction may be appreciated rather than scorned. I spoke about the importance of having fundamental beliefs of what was good or bad, or right or wrong. You needed to act accordingly, but never to make the mistake of thinking you have absolute knowledge. And then added, believe it or not, I have been wrong on occasion. I know you believe it, but I was talking to them. Now, meeting another party halfway, but still in the right direction, is not a flaw. None of us have perfect understanding or information. What is important is never to divert from the path of improving the lives of the people you serve. Not to tell them how to live, but instead to work to improve their opportunities and provide tools for a better life. Finally, I stated that if at any time you put your own interests and needs ahead of those you serve, you have failed. You have broken faith with the covenant between you as an elected official and the public. Your governance equation will not solve. My purpose in relating this story is to urge each of us to be less hasty with negative judgments and disparaging remarks towards our institutions and those that occupy them. Frustration and cynicism abound in our country. With time, an overly negative view has a corrosive effect on our public life. We become weary of partisan fights, the brinksmanship, and the slow pace of reform or progress. Worst of all, we become cynical. And there are moments when this cynicism strikes me as well. It helps to remember that the framers of our democratic republic were well schooled in history and chose durability over efficiency. Much of the conflict and endless debate is part of a larger design intended to protect us from actions inflamed by passions of the moment or the demagogue or by those who would seek to lead us only for their own ends. And my responsibility is to use my authority on your behalf to provide safety today and opportunity tomorrow, to make sure your tax dollars are spent well and that sound financial principles govern our conduct. I will do everything I can and use every power in my office to assure that resources are used consistently with that imperative. It is my part of the equation I spoke of earlier. It's my responsibility to us, our children, and grandchildren, never losing sight that all of this is to ensure a better and smoother path for those that follow. It is my honor and pleasure to serve, represent, and lead this city. I look forward to the future with great optimism. I know that together we can make this city one that adheres to the first moral principle of government, make better the future for those that follow. You have my pledge to work tirelessly and continue in my efforts to make that vision a reality. Thank you for participating in our democracy, and good night. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. I love this city, guys. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. It's a great place to live.
Okay,
public.
All right. Thank you again.